And welcome, everybody. It's another Perry's Inside Scoop as we get set for the Orange and Pitt this week at Yankee Stadium. And that alone is an interesting sidebar for this one, Coach. It's a change of scenery, but a home away from home in a lot of ways to play at that big ballpark in the Bronx.
Yeah, going back there, been there once or twice, and we're looking forward to it. 100 years, Yankee Stadium, 3-0 the first game. Hopefully we're going to score a lot more than that.
I was just looking up the 1923 team. They allowed 19 points for the season. not a bad way to go about
really
it.
Good.
And this first game that we're commemorating, which was in October of 23 at Yankee Stadium, the first ever college football game there, right in the prime of Babe Ruth and all of that, was a 3-0 win, as you pointed out, as part of a string of 5 consecutive shutouts by the Orange.
Wow, that's impressive.
They beat a little outfit called Alabama the game prior.
A small outfit.
Yeah. So there you go. That's your inspiration. But I know you draw it in different ways, and we'll talk about the seriousness of what's going on here now, too. But the idea of playing back at Yankee Stadium, I can remember just in the Pinstripe Bowl, the guys loving the connection to the Yankees, and guys are still wearing the jerseys they got and that kind of thing. You've thrown out the first pitch down there and been involved in those types of things. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just one of those places that has its own memories. It has its own ghost, whether you're an East Coast, West Coast guy. Everybody knows about the Yankees and how their desire to win and how they'll do whatever it takes to win championships.
Yeah, well, that's been in the news this week as well as the Yankees look to get back to who they are, and I know you're trying to do that too. How are you assessing what's going on here at the moment? You know, we talked about the first 3 games of the losing streak, set those aside here. The game against Boston College, again, could have gone either way. It's a 17-10 final in the Dome. You come out of that, and we'll talk about the quarterback situation, but what are you feeling here in terms of what it's going to take to improve?
We're gonna need some breaks. I think that the guys are still playing hard, obviously based off the score. We just haven't had a lot of breaks go our way. We haven't made enough plays to win the game, and we have to prevent ourselves from doing so much bad that we can lose the game. But we just need to get some playmakers to make some plays and have some guys step up, and I think all that stuff will start to change.
All right, let's get into the quarterback part. That was clearly the storyline Saturday, known shortly before the game that Garrett Schrader was unable to go. I guess I should have known when I saw him come out and he's throwing perfect passes left-handed 2 hours before the game. That's different. But I thought, well, Garrett's a different kind of guy with extreme athleticism and skill. Maybe he's just screwing around for a little bit. But so that when things like that happen, do you view that as a blow to the team versus an opportunity? And obviously, as you say, if you're going to play with your backup quarterback, this is true at any level, everyone else needs to do their part.
Well, yeah, we're playing out there. We rolled out with Carlos, and we needed everybody else to step up. We didn't need Carlos to win the game. We needed to make sure that other people made plays to make Carlos's job easier. He needed to manage the game, and obviously it was one of those games where turnovers popped up, and turnovers were a big difference in the game.
The first start for him is a tough go. How does a guy improve from 1 to 2? You've got that track record now, so do your opponents, in fairness. When you think about the tools that it takes to compete and be a viable quarterback at this level, what can you work with now?
I think the biggest thing is to open up and take coaching and correct your wrongs. And then there's things that he did well, and let's work on the things that he did well and try to get everything even keel where he can relax and be him.
And let's not assume either. Let's go back to just a step. What options are available to you at quarterback this week?
Well, we have a lot of options. It's just what we decide that we're going to do with it. Carlos, Garrett, we have other quarterbacks on the roster if we want to go down there. And I think that we're going to have to do whatever we need to do to try to find a way to score points.
When you think about that, and certainly Garrett wanted to play better, and if he's healthy, you got an option there. Carlos obviously wants to play better. Braden Davis hasn't been in a great deal yet. How hard is it to develop a quarterback during the season? When is the bulk of that work done when a guy makes a jump? And what's feasible here as you start to work on the 2s and 3s maybe at that position?
I think the biggest thing to understand is that you play with your starting quarterback, and when you don't have a starting quarterback or you have an injured starting quarterback and you go to your backup, most people don't have those type of players as a backup. And what we need to do is, again, whoever's lined up at quarterback, if he's not the starter, everybody else needs to play better so that they don't have to try to assume a role that they didn't win outright.
Sure. And that's where you lean kind of on your leadership here. And unfortunately, it's been equal opportunity, right? No position group has been exempt to issues over the course of the season, whether that's injuries or slip-ups here and there. So you've been talking about it for a while, that this is kind of those captains come back in, and if there is some stepping up to be done, they're the ones expressing the message.
You know, I really believe that this is the first year, even though we've got injuries with our captain, we've never gone this far where our captains have still been upright, which is the reason we went from 3 to 6. Thank you, please knock twice. So it is good that they're still out on the field, even though Garrett was banged up and he didn't play with us last week. Barron's playing with a club on his hand. I mean, we need those guys out there. We need that leadership, and I think that they continue to show that. And that's the bridge between the coaching staff to the locker room to the players on the team. And if they lead, I'm sure the other guys will follow.
Justin Barron had one of maybe the biggest hit of the season last week, who ends up being a fumble recovered, and those are exciting, impressive plays. It remains a story that you've had other opportunities, right? Who has more dropped interceptions? And it's not that they've all been right there, easy to go, but if you are going to turn the tide, that needs to be done. Is there still that feeling, whether it's on the practice field or whatever, that in one way you're making the ball available, it's just got to be secured?
All you got to do is make the plays. You have the interceptions on defense, you have the fumbles where you're laying out of bounds and you're laying in bounds, so it goes back to the other people that touched it last. In fact, I think I saw that happen to somebody else the other day, or maybe last night on TV, just in passing. So we haven't gotten the bounces going our way, but it's going to come back to us. It's going to come back to us.
All right, so Pittsburgh this week, and they've had the upper hand in the series of late. This is the team that has put running backs into the NFL and that kind of thing, and you think you brace for Pittsburgh. It's like, oh, some dude's going to carry it 35 times, and is that not what they're doing here? They're also bringing along a young quarterback in Christian Veyer, and they're spreading it around. They throw to the tight end. Well, what's kind of the profile for Pitt in your mind?
I still see them as a physical team that wants to run the football. They still have, I want to say, Hammond Jr. that ran the ball on us last year, and he's still in that backfield. They have two guys that go back and forth. They do throw the ball to the tight end. They have a big physical offensive line. And, and Pat Narduzzi, I know him extremely well. He's a defensive-oriented coach that wants to run the football and play great defense. Their special teams is outstanding. That is going to be a challenge for us. So I think they have the same makeup, even though Christian can throw the football. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, we got this big window behind us here, Coach. I view this as sort of a window into you and the attitude as we meet in the middle of every week to kind of get a vibe on the game. And what I get, the feedback here is pretty good. I mean, you're driving and charging, and I know you don't like where you are, but in terms of the attitude and effort and enthusiasm and that type of thing, it seems like it's there.
The big thing with our players is they're not going to quit. They've got too much pride. They know what they represent with the S on their chest, and they understand the alumni and everybody that's behind them and everybody else that's pulling for them to do more and to do better. And I think together we will.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you in that big Yankee clubhouse on Saturday, okay?
Thank you so much, Matt.
Orange head coach Dino Babers with us on the Perry's Inside Scoop. Perry's, as always, is proudly made in New York.